Welcome to today's class. Today's class is actually a continuation of our previous class where we learned how to draft patterns for a side pleated dress. So today we're going to be learning how to make this dress. So we're going to be placing our patterns on our fabric, cutting them out, and then stitching this dress. So for today now, let me walk you through the fabric we'll be using for this class, or the things we'll be needing to make this dress. So we'll be needing about 2 meters of fabric. Now we're going to cut out the front part first. So you see, it's important that you place your you have to calculate how to place your fabric, how to place your patterns. Really, what I mean is, because this pattern is one-sided, so you have to think, which side do you want your pleat to be? For me, I want the pleat to be on the left side of my dress. The pleats are usually finer on the left side of your dress because many times as ladies, we carry our handbags on the right side of us. We carry our handbags on the right side. So it's always good for the pleats to go to the left side so that it will be very obvious nothing is going to cover it. Okay, so you place your patterns like this. Now you see how I'm placing my pattern. The straight grain of this pattern against the straight grain of the fabric. So place your pattern like this, and then place the other one like so. So once you finish cutting, before you take out your pattern, you are going to notch. So let me place my pattern on it. So it's easier for you to notch now, otherwise you're going to have problems later on. Okay, so you're going to notch your fabric so that you'll be able to pleat them very well. Okay, so now you're going to set this one aside, and then you're going to cut the other piece. Okay, so we're going to cut the other pattern pieces. So now you're also going to cut your fusible for your facing. So I've already cut mine, so that's my facing fusible. And now you're going to take it to your ironing board. You're going to go iron on your fusible to your facing. Okay, yeah, just like this. And then you're going to do the same thing for the back side as well. All right, so now we're ready to start stitching, and we're going to start with the front part first. So you're going to take the upper side of your front, and then we are going to pleat our design. Okay, so you're going to take, you see these are a little triangle like this. You are just going to fold it into 2. You see how I folded it? Fold it into 2 like that. Place it on this line. Let me turn it like this so you can see. Place it on that line. Okay, just like that, and use your pins to hold them together in place. Okay, and then you're going to take the second one, fold it into 2 like so, and then place it on this line. Okay, again, use your pins to hold them together in place. Okay, so you can see your pleats are already forming. Now you're going to take these other parts, fold it into 2, and then place it on this line like so. Okay, now you're going to take this last one, fold it into two, and then you place it on this line. Okay, so you're going to have your pleats like so. So you're just going to use your fingers to arrange your pleat very well. So once you finish arranging your pleats like so, arrange it very well as you desire. Okay, then you're going to take it to your ironing board and press them very nicely before we go and stitch these edges. So I'm going to go press mine now and then show it to you. All right, so I've ironed mine. I've given it a very good press so you can see how my pleats look, just like that. So now you're going to take it to your sewing machine and then you're going to stitch like so to hold the pleats together so you can take off all your pins. All right, so after stitching you're going to have something like this. Now if you notice that you have a little fabric coming out, just little one, like something like this, you're just going to chop it off. Just be careful. Yeah, so you see, just a very little part so that it will be even at the bottom. Okay, so the next thing will be to join your side front to it. So you take your side front piece just like this, and then with the right side facing the right side of fabric against the right side of the other part, you flip it like this and then you join them together. Now take note, when you're joining, it's easier for you to join them from the bottom. Don't join from here because you may make mistake. So join it from the bottom. Use your pins to hold them together in place. Okay, okay, so once you hold them like this, now you're going to stitch from here all the way down to where your seam ends. You can actually place it like this so you can see it, it doesn't matter. So just stitch from here all the way down to this part. Okay, so once you've joined the side front to the other side, you're going to have something like this. Now you're going to go ahead and then overlock this seam so that it will look nice and neat. Once you've done overlocking yours, then you're going to iron on this seam. You see the seam? Iron it or press it towards the pleat, the side where the pleat is, so that it can relax very well. All right, now we're going to set this one aside and then we're going to work on the lower skirt. So you take your lower skirt pattern or fabric. Okay, so now we're going to pleat it. So remember we had notches, we added notches. So you're going to start from this part here. Okay, so you're going to pick on one notch like so. You place it on the other notch. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So you place it on the other notch just like so, and then you use your pins to hold them together in place. It's very similar to what we did for the upper side, just like difference though. Now you pick on the other notch and then you match it, fold it to meet the second notch just like so, and then you pin it, and then you pick on the other one and then you match it to the second notch or to the other notch, and then you use your pins to hold them together in place. So you're going to continue doing that until you get to the end. So you can already see my pleats looking nice and neat. Okay, So once you are done pleating, you're going to have something like this. All right, so again, before you actually before you stitch on this part, just take it to the ironing board, arrange your pleats very well like so, and then you're going to iron it very nicely. All right, okay. So after ironing, you're going to have something like this. So you see how I iron them like in a slant, beautiful like that. So you're going to iron yours something like this. Okay, now you're going to take it to your sewing machine, and then you're going to stitch these pleats to hold them together in place. All right, so the next thing for us to do now would be for us to join the side front to our skirt. So you take your side front. Remember, you had to mark it when you were cutting on it. So you see I put an arrow to indicate this is the side seam and this is the waistline. So remember to indicate it in your pattern while cutting it, because both sides look alike. This side and this side looks alike. You may not be able to differentiate it. So now you place them together with the right side facing the right side. Flip it just like this, and then you are going to pin them. So you start pinning from one end all the way down to the hem line. Take your time to pin it, please. Don't be in a hurry. Okay, so when you finish pinning, you're going to go ahead to stitch from one end all the way down to the hem line. Okay, so you're going to take it to your overlocking machine, and then you're going to overlock it nicely together. Overlock the two seams together. All right, so after joining the side to the other part of the skirt, you're going to have something like this. Now remember to iron your seam. Iron it towards the side of your side front, not towards the pleat this time. See, iron it towards your side front like that, so that it will relax very well. All right, okay, so now we're ready to join the upper side and the lower sides together. So place them together just like this, and then first of all match your seams. This is your princess style line. Please match it, put them together, and use your pin directly on that point on the line. And then you're going to start pinning them. So you pin from one end all the way down to the other end. So once you finish pinning from one end to the other end, you're going to go ahead, take it to your sewing machine, and then you're going to stitch it. All right, so once you finish joining them, you're going to have something like this. Okay, now you're going to iron your seam towards the lower skirt. All right, so that your seam will stay very well. Okay, so now we're going to set this aside, and then we're going to work on the back side. So for the back side, the first thing we're going to do would be for us to stitch our dart. So once you are done stitching your dart and ironing it very nicely, you're going to go ahead and overlock all your raw edges. Okay, now, or you use your pinky shears to just trim them very nicely. Okay, so the next thing will be for us to attach our zipper. So you're going to place the two sides. This is my back side. Place them together just like that, the two of them, with the right side facing the right side. And then you take your zipper. You're going to just place your zipper like this. My zipper is about 60 cm long, so you need a long zipper so that it will be easy for you to wear. Okay, so you just place your zipper. See, you see this extra here, just leave it, start it from the beginning, just like that. Okay, start it from your neckline, the beginning, just like that. Now when you get to this part, you're going to measure your zipper upwards from where your zipper is. Measure it upwards, say about 3 cm or 4 cm. So you see what I've done? I hope you can see it well. Let me shift it a little bit so you can see. Okay, so you just measure your zipper upwards 3 cm or 4 cm. I'm using 4 cm here. Okay, and then you mark on your fabric where your zipper is going to start from. Okay, or where your zipper is going to stop, whichever. So you're going to stitch from here now all the way down to this part. So you stitch it like this all the way down to this part, and then once you get to this overlap here, you go like that. Just stitch it how it is, this shape. You stop here, you raise your presser foot, and then you go like this and stitch it very nicely before we install our zipper. Okay, so you can use your pins to hold them together in place. So pin them so that it doesn't move. Okay, so now we are going to open press our seam allowance at the center back. Now once you flip it to the right side of the fabric, you're going to arrange this part here. Okay, so you're going to place the left side. Take note, the left side. So arrange the left side on top like this, just the way I'm doing it. So make sure you fold in the amount of seam allowance that you added. We added 4 cm seam allowance. So arrange it very well like this, and then use your steam iron to press it very nicely. So the next thing for us to do would be for us to go and stitch this overlap at the back. So what we are going to do is, you see this place here where it overlaps, we're just going to go and stitch it. So you are going to stitch it in a slant, all right? You can use a chalk to mark yours first so that you know where to stitch. So that's actually all you need to do, you see? So that way you hold the two of them together in place. You see? If you turn the back side, this is how it looks. So now we're going to join the front part and the back side together on the side seam. So with the right side of the front, the back, and the right side of the front, place them together like so, and then you're just going to pin from the underarm. Pin it all the way down to the hem. Make sure you pin it. It's very important. It makes your patterns balance very well. So pin from underarm all the way down to the hem on this side and on the other side. And then you're also going to pin your shoulders together so that we can stitch everything. So once you finish pinning them, you take them to the sewing machine and then you stitch the shoulders and the side seams. Okay, so once you finish joining the side seam and your shoulders, remember to take it to your ironing board and open press your seam allowance. I've already done that. So now the next thing for us to do would be for us to attach the facing. So we're going to prepare our facing first. So you're going to take your facing, that's my facing, the front facing, and this is the back facing. So you're going to place them shoulder to shoulder. So the back facing against with the right side facing the right side. So you place your shoulder like so, and then you also place this one, yes, like so. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead to stitch your facing. So you stitch your facing at the shoulder like so, and then you're going to stitch this part as well. Then once you're done stitching, take it to the ironing board and then open press your seam allowance. Okay, so we're going to attach our facing now to our dress. So you're going to take your facing that you have already prepared. Now the first thing is to match with the right side of the facing against the right side of your dress. You're just first of all going to match your shoulder seams. So match your shoulder seams, use a pin and place it directly at the middle of your seam so that your seams will match. Okay, good. Now you're going to take the other one and then you also match the shoulder seams as well. So now you're going to pin from one end all the way down to the other end. So once you finish pinning it, you're going to take it to your sewing machine and then you're going to stitch all around from one end to the other end. Okay, now when you want to start stitching, please stitch from the facing side. It's always easier that way. So stitch with your facing facing you. Okay, I hope you understand what I mean. And then try not to stitch on this zipper teeth. Okay, just stitch the seam allowance. So when you hit that point, that sharp V corner, you leave your needle inside, you lift your presser foot up, and then you turn your fabric with your needle still inside. Let me take off this pin now, and then you continue stitching. All right, so that you have a very sharp point there and it will look very nice. So once you finish stitching, you're going to check on your zipper side first of all. So let me zip up the zipper. Okay, good. So you're going to check it and then you're going to check whether it balances very well, whether the seams are on the same line. You can see mine are directly on the same line, so that if I fold this facing inside and fold this in, I'm going to have a very nice finishing like this. You see? So this is very important. Now if you notice that it's not on the same line, just loosen it and adjust it again. All right, it's better you finish it up very well than it's looking wonky. Okay, all right, now the next thing you're going to check is your that sharp edge, the V point, whether it's looking nice. So you're going to just take in your folding your facing like so and look at it. Okay, mine is looking nice, not looking bad at all. Okay, so if yours is like that, fine and good. If it's not like that, no worries, just adjust it. So now you're going to snip off. So you're going to not snip off, you're going to give it a little notch. You see this sharp edge like this? I hope you can see it. You're just going to notch it a little bit so that that part will relax very well. Now when you notch, be careful not to cut off your thread, your stitches. If you cut them off, oh, you ruin your garment. Please just be very careful, but cut as close to the stitch as possible. When you cut as close to the stitch as possible, it's your neckline will relax a lot better. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to give your neckline little notches, especially at the back side where it's a little curve. So now once you finish notching, the next thing is you're going to top stitch on your facing. So we are done. The reason why we had to top stitch on our facing is so that our facing will not be peeping out. So you see, after top stitching on your facing, when you put it like this, you see your facing will not show at all. It will look nice and neat. Now you're going to take it to the ironing board and give it a very good press. Okay, so once you finish pressing your facing, you're going to have something like this. Nice, right? Okay, so now we're going to finish off our facing. Okay, so to finish off your facing, you're not going to flip your facing like so. Just flip it like that, and then you're going to stitch them together. You see it? So we're going to stitch it from one end to the other end. Now when you're stitching, you have to be very careful so that you don't stitch on this your stitch line. You're just going to stitch very close, but if you start stitching on this your stitch line, it's going to spoil the teeth of your zipper. So just be careful, just stitch very close to the seam line. Okay, okay. So you're going to have something like this, and then you're going to, you see, I stitch very close to the other stitch line. So you're just going to snip off this little part so that you don't, it's not bulky inside. Just snip it off a little bit, and then you flip it over like so. Good. You see how nice and neat it looks? Very easy. So you're going to do exactly the same thing for this other side. Now you're going to zip it up and see how your zipper looks. Wow, you see? So you see both of them are on equal position, very equal. You see? Now if you turn it inside, ooh, they match also. They look really nice and neat. This is what we call professional sewing. You see, it's not too hard to do professional sewing. You're just taking note of all these little things here and there, here and there. So now you're going to take it to the ironing board and then give it a very good press so that it can relax very well. All right, so the next thing we're going to do would be for us to prepare our sleeve so that we can attach it to our dress. So once you finish attaching your sleeves and you're happy with the way your sleeves are, then you're going to go ahead and cut off your threads that you use in running your gathers. So you cut them off, then overlock your seams very nicely, and then you see on this facing part, you see that your facing is just moving all about. So you're going to attach it. So you see this facing now, just place it together here like this. Use a needle and thread to attach it with the dress, okay, so that it doesn't keep moving. Just stitch it nicely and attach it. Then on this other side, you're going to do exactly the same thing. Okay. So now we're almost done with our dress. We only have our hemline to finish. All right, so for the hemline, you're just going to go overlock your hemline very nicely, or you use your pinky shears, and then you're going to fold in your seam allowance, 4 cm seam allowance that you added. Fold it in just like so, and then give it a very good press all the way down to the end. Okay, just fold in on this part too, just fold it in like so. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to finish it off later. All right, so to finish off our hemline so that it will have a professional look, we are going to use a technique called the metered corner. Now this technique is very easy, just pay attention to it. Remember, we had to go folding our hem allowance, you see. So you iron in your hem allowance all around up to these parts. So this is the part we want, the part that had the overlap on our skirt here. So this is the part we want to finish off using the metered corner. So make sure that you iron it very nicely. Now the trick in having a very nice metered corner is this seam allowance that you folded in for the overlap has to be exactly the same with the hem, with the seam allowance you added for the hemline. So remember, we added 4 cm here to overlap our skirt, and then for the hem we also added 4 cm hem allowance. So our allowances are very equal. If your seam allowance are not exactly the same thing, you're going to have a slight problem. But if it's exactly the same thing like this, oh, you're very good. Okay, so now you're going to take this folded part here, this part here. Remember, we have ironed it very nicely, and if you look at mine closely, you will notice that it has an ironing line here, pressing line here, and at the back too. So you're just going to fold this like so, fold it like that. Now you are going to make sure that this line here aligns with this fold line here. So you see what I'm doing, and you're also going to make sure that this line here, the ironing line here, it also aligns with this ironing line here. So you see this line has to align with this ironing line, this other line has to align with this. So that's the trick. So just place it nicely like that, so you can see mine aligning very well on both sides. Okay, now you're going to take your iron and then you're going to press on it. So place it like so, and then you give it a very good press. Okay, so once you've done that, now you're going to fold it. Now you have a new line here, a new pressing line. So you're going to fold on this line like so. You see, I folded on it on the wrong side of the fabric, and you're going to stitch on that line. You see, so just go and stitch from one end all the way down to the end. Okay, so I've gone to stitch on my line. You can see my stitches. Now you're going to snip off your excess fabric. So you just cut off these parts like so. Now you see, you're going to leave about 1 cm inside, or slightly smaller than 1 cm. And on this edge here, you're just going to snip off a little bit like so. Okay, now you're going to open it, and then you press. This is your seam allowance. It's a very small seam allowance, but it's nice for you to press it so that it will relax very well. So you press open your seam allowance, you see. Okay, so once you're happy with it, you're going to flip it on the inside. Use your fabric turner to bring out this little edge here, and you see you have a very nice corner. So you're going to use your iron to press it nicely again. All right, so you see your finishing at these corners looks really nice and neat. See, it wasn't difficult, right? You see it at the back. This is really nice and neat. So that's how to finish off our corners using the metered corner technique. All right, okay, now to finish off the rest of our hem, we are just going to fold it in like that. Fold it outside, you see, fold it outside, say about 1 cm. So we are going to hand stitch this part. I know many people don't like hand stitching, but it's just the best for finishing this skirt. So just take your time and do this, right? So to finish off this part, we're going to be using hand stitching, and this hand stitching is called the herringbone hand stitching. So it's very easy, but it takes a bit of time, and it's going to give you a very professional look. So you're going to pick, I'm not using a matching thread, I'm using a contrasting thread so that you can see how it looks, okay? But when you are doing yours, please make sure to use the matching thread, okay? So you're going to start from your left side, okay? Now you're just going to pick on the fabric, just take it nicely like so, and then pinch. I hope you can see, and then you pinch on the folded part of your hem, just like so, you see, okay? Then you pinch on your folded part like so. You just pinch it like that, okay? Make sure you don't pick the back. You pinch it like that, and then you pinch these two. You pinch on your folded fabric like so, and then you pinch on your main dress like so, okay? And then you go again, you go this way, you pinch on only the folded parts like so, okay? Then you come, you pinch on this one, and then you pinch on the dress as well. So you see, you just keep stitching like so. Then you pinch on the folded part of your hem like so, and then you pinch on these two, the folded parts. See the folded parts, and then the fabric itself, the dress itself, like so. So you just continue stitching like that in a zigzag form. So you can see now when you flip it to this side, you see how it looks. You don't see stitches here at all. Now when you flip it to the right side of your skirt, you can see that your stitches are invisible. Even though I'm using a contrasting thread, you can still see that the stitches are invisible, so making it look really nice and professional. So when you're done with it like this, when you get to the end, you are going to now give it a very good press. You iron it so that it will look nice and neat. Just give it a good press like so, so it will look nice and neat. So you're going to just sit down, stay in front of a TV while you're watching a movie or something, or have a cup of tea or coffee by your side, and then you're just going to finish it off very nicely. It takes a bit of time, but with practice you can do this really very quickly, and then you're going to have a very professional finishing. See, your skirt is going to look nice and neat. So you see, to finish off professionally, it doesn't really take much. These little details are what makes your outfit or your garment very professional. So please take your time to do this, right? Okay, so once you're done with this, you give your dress an overall press so that it will look beautiful, and then you're ready to rock your dress. I can't wait to see your dress on you. Please don't forget to send me pictures of your dress. You can send them to me on Facebook, all right, or even DM to me on Instagram, all right. I really love to see your make. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial so far. If you do, please don't forget to invite your friends to join our classes. Thank you so much. I'll see you again in our next class. All right, bye bye.